So today we're doing percent problems. So to start out your notes, we're going to first talk about percent to decimal. So I want you to remember Dr. Pepper, so DP. And to go from percent to decimal, you're going to start over here by the P. And we want to get our decimal over here by the D. So to do that, we have to move our decimal 2 places to the left. So the same concept applies over here. If I have a percent of 6.2, I'm going to move my decimal 2 places to the left. So I have 0.062. The next one is 42%. So if there's not a percent, or I'm sorry, if there's not a decimal, the decimal goes at the end of the number, like the period does at the end of a sentence. So the decimal's over here by the 2, and I'm going to move it 2 places. So it's 0.42. And you don't need the 0 in front of it. I just think it's easier for you guys to see while you're taking your notes. The next one is 8%. So if I have 8%, I'm going to start here at the end of the number, move it 2 places to here, and I'm adding a 0. So 0.08. All right, so the next part is discount or sales. So there's different types of discounts and sales. Sometimes they may say, I don't know, 20% off. They may say there's a $50 rebate. These are different types of sales. But if it's a sale, you're either going to find the percentage, right? So if they say it's 20% off, you're going to do the percent over 100, and you would do X over your total, okay, to get your money off. And then for discounts, you're always going to subtract them from the total. So then you would do total minus the discount, right? Because if you have a discount or a sale, you're going to pay less money. So here's an example. It says Can Electronics has a sale. All computers are 20% off. If the computer was on sale for $680, what is the original price? Okay, so we know we're going to use a proportion, right? Because percent means proportion. 20% is going to go up here. Percent always goes on top. So over here, it's going to be, and let me add to this over here. So this is going to be the discount amount over the total, or over the original price. Okay, so we have, it's saying what is the original price? So that's going to be the total. We don't know what the total is, but we know that it's on sale for $680. Okay, oh gosh, sorry, I didn't mean to write that there. Sorry. Okay, so sorry. The sale price is $680. We don't know the original. So we know it's 20% off. So guys, is the discount 20% off? Is that $680? No, right? We're paying $680. So we're paying 80%. If we saved 20%, we're paying 80%. So this proportion's a little bit different. So you're going to set it up like this. We have 80x equals 68,000. I'm going to divide by 80, divide by 80. I can cancel out a 0. So I have 6,800 divided by 8. Let's see, 56, 64, okay, 64, 40. So 50, okay? So the original price was $850. All right, the next one says tax and tip. So tax and tip are usually a percentage, right? So yet again, we're going to use our proportion, part over whole is percent over 100. And tax and tip are going to be something, do you pay less or more? You pay more, right? So you're going to take your total and you're going to add tip or tax, right? It's an additional cost that you have to pay. All right, so Orlando buys a shirt for $15 and a pair of jeans for $32.50. If the sales tax is 8%, what is the total price he pays? Okay, so first part, we need to find how much he's paying. So $32.50 for the jeans and $15 for the shirt. Make sure you line up your decimal. 0.574. So he's paying $47.50. So I'm going to set up my proportion because I need the part. That's my total, right? $47.50 is the total he's paying. And I have to pay 8% of that for tax. So 8 over 100. So I have 100x equals, I'm going to do 47.5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 7 times 8 is 56. 60. 32. 38. One number to the right of the decimal. So 100x is 380. Divide by 100. Divide by 100. Move my decimal 2 places. So x is $3.80. But is it asking for the tax? No, it's asking for the price that he pays for the item. So he pays for the total, right? $47.50 plus he pays for tax. So plus 380 equals, let's see, 0, 8 plus 5 is 13, 10, 11, 4, 5. So he pays $51.30. So, yes, I know these problems are a lot of work, but you guys can do it. All right, so for percent of change, we always do, again, a proportion, guys. Percent means proportion. If you need to write it up at the top, I'm going to put percent means proportion. Okay, so percent of change is change over original equals percent over 100. So if you remember back to when we learned it, we always put a star by original in the problem so we remembered which one was which. And to find change means you're going to use subtraction. So big minus small over original, right? You have to find the difference equals percent over 100. So greatest percent of change. You either gain 15 yards and then gain 18 yards, or walk 5 miles a day in one day, or 8 miles on the second day. Okay, so change is going to be from 15 to 8, right? So 18 minus 15 is 3 over original. That was the first one. Over 15 equals x over 100, right? I can actually simplify this first. So if I divide it by 3, I get 1. Divide 15 by 3, I get 5. 1 over 5. So I have 5x equals 100. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. X equals 20. The second one, he started walking 8 miles a day and then 8 miles on day, 5 miles day 1, 8 miles day 2. So change, 8 minus 5 is 3 over original of 5 equals x over 100, right? So we have 5x equals 300. Divide by 5, divide by 5, x equals 60. So greatest percent of change was the 60. Okay, so I'm going to help you get these first 5 problems started, and then you'll do the second page on your own. So number 1 says Maya and her 2 best friends have dinner at a restaurant. The bill totals $32.85, including tax. They leave an 18% tip and split all costs evenly. How many does each person pay? All right, so how much does each person pay? How many people are we talking about? Maya and her 2 best friends. So we're talking about 3 people. Okay? So first thing, the total is $32.85 and we need to leave an 18% tip. Okay? So how do we find tip? So remember, we're going to do our part over total equals percent over 100. So we know we need 18% over 100. And then our bill total is $32.85. So we're going to do X over $32.85. Then once we find X, that's going to be our tip, right? So are we going to add that or subtract it? Tip has to be added. So you're going to take $32.85 and you're going to add the X value, okay? So here's the X value, here's the X value. Once you get your total for the bill, we want to know how much each person pays. So to get the amount for each separate person, we're going to divide that total then by 3. So go ahead and press pause and do your work for that. Okay, the next one says Holly and her 2 best friends go to dinner. Their total bill is $31.84. They use a coupon for 15% off the total. They split the bill evenly. How much does each person owe? Okay, so on this one, Holly and her 2 best friends. So again, we're talking about 3 people. I don't know why it always does that lately. Okay, 3 people. And their bill total is $31.84. They're taking 15% off. Okay, so I need to find 15% of their bill. So 15 over 100. Put my total here, $31.84. I'm going to do X up top. So then I'm going to take $31.84, right? And in this case, since it's a coupon, we're going to subtract the X value this time, okay? And then once you do that, you're going to do the same thing as you did last time. You're going to take your total and divide it by 3. Okay, number 3 says Munson Sporting Goods purchases bowling balls from a manufacturer for a wholesale price of $65 each. The retail price reflects a 60% increase. What is the retail price? Okay, so we want to know a 60% increase. So percent over 100, and we need to do X over 65. Now, if we're trying to find the retail price, they're increasing it by this amount. So you're going to take the wholesale cost and you're going to add, right? Add the increase to get the retail price. All right, so number 4, it's asking for which represents the greatest percent of change. So this one, I'm going to let you guys try it on your own. It's the same as the problem that we did here at the bottom of the paper. And then here, number 5, he bought 4 pairs of jeans. His bill total, including tax, was $80.29. If each pair was $18.50 before tax was added, what was the tax rate? So go ahead and check your answers on the answer document, make sure they're right. If you didn't get something right, you need to make sure to get some help on it. We need to understand these problems. Then if you have extra time, first you should be going back and working on your warm-ups because those grades are looking a little rough. And then once we check that, you can go ahead and do Think Through Math.